This is Concrete TV. Concrete TV.
So what influenced you to even be part of the music industry?
Oh man, really, like I said, man, it was like I had no other opportunities. I was.
So that's what that was the first thing that you fell in love with, and you ran with it.
Yeah. I mean, I started off, kind of, I was doing more negative than positive.
Right.
So it was one of those things where, even while I was doing music, it was more negative than positive, and it just came to a point in my life where, I had a little one, so it was like my whole life started changing around me, and
so that was your motivation.
That was my motivation. Yes, my wife, my kids, and that motivated me to change what I was doing at that time and turn it into something positive.
Wow, that's a real good story right there. Because a lot of people, they come from negative situations and they turn it into a positive. So like, do you see yourself, possibly owning your own magazine or owning your own, like you said, you have your own promotions company. So like, what else do you want to do? Like,
man, I wouldn't say I would want to own my own magazine.
Okay.
Just because where I'm at right now, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to take over anything.
Hey, but it's good if you take over now.
Yeah,
It is good.
And I've moved up to a great position, so
Right.
I'm not gonna knock that at all. You know what I'm saying? But I see myself like I'm always doing new stuff. We throw a lot of events.
I seen something about Big Cred and Small, and it was like win a feature contest. And stuff like that.
We recently did. I mean, we're always trying to. Like I said, I started off as an artist, so I still look at it from an artist's point of view, and I know what artists need. And
that's a good quality to have.
Yeah, well, I mean, as an independent artist, the hardest thing is getting your music out there and being heard. I mean, you can make dope music all day.
But who's gonna listen to it?
That's it. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of the times it's not something. Like I said, I was coming from a negative side, so I know that realm too. And I look at it as a lot of artists just don't have that option of getting out there. A lot of them don't have the budget unless they're doing negative stuff. So some of them will actually go out, they might work a part-time job or something, but on the side they're hustling just to put their album out because they don't make enough at their job to pay all their bills and put their album out and pay for production and all that stuff. So that's something where, we always try to stay working with independent artists and supporting them, giving them opportunities to, just do bigger things,
So like, what advice would you give to somebody who's up and coming, they hustling, getting their money, but they want to actually go somewhere with business or with the music entertainment industry? Like, what would you tell them?
Man, I'll just put it like this, man. It's like, it's the same game. Right. It's the same thing, it's all numbers, So my thing is like this: if you know how to take a certain product and generate off of it, there's other ways to do that. You just have to figure out what your niche is, And my thing is like, I was always into business, I was always doing something to generate, and I've just figured out other ways to do it, And I was like, you can. It's the same rules. It all applies, So if you're good with numbers and you've got that hustle in you and you can get out there and really get it, I mean, just apply it, and just start figuring out. Someone told me, a long time ago, man. Someone told me, and I took it and ran with it. And it's pretty much, you gotta look at who did it, how they did it, and then you do it better.
Right. So we were just talking about that.
Word. And that's pretty much what I did. I just looked at other people within the industry that were successful and seen what their strong points were, and then looked at their weaknesses and said, okay, well, I know not to do this. And I know to do this, and I just applied it to the everyday hustle, man.
Wow, okay. So now that you're in your position, like, what do you want to do in the future? Like, what artists do you want to work with? Who do you want to who do you want to work with?
Well, I mean, we've talked to so many artists, and I've had the, and that's the beauty of this job is, I've been able, I've been able to meet some of my favorite artists, and and some of my favorite artists that I thought were my favorite artists. When I met them, I was like, oh my God, I wish I'd have never met them, man. but it's like there's so many new artists coming up, man, and I mean, it's not so much the big artists that I really.
So you geared towards independent artists rather than mainstream.
I mean, either way, like with the magazine, me personally, yeah, I'm more dedicated. I like independent artists, underground music. But for the magazine, we have to cover a little bit of both. To give our readers, we give them that. Yeah, you put out 10,000 magazines, and with 10,000 magazines, say you put a local artist on the cover, and these people might not necessarily know who this artist is, so it's less interesting. They're like, I've never seen that guy before. They might not pick the magazine up. But if it's someone that's huge, who's done numbers, then people are excited to pick it up. Like, oh, that's that little Bootsy cover, that's that Big Crit cover, and they grab it. Right. And then the artists that are inside of it, that are independent, they benefit more, because people are excited to read it. So they look through it and they're seeing these other artists that may be local or maybe independent.
And they'll just pick up on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you told me that you were, a military brat. So how was that growing up like? And then you said you still gravitated towards music, and so how was that?
I mean, it was dope.
You like traveling.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, is like, growing up, I never really lived in one place more than like 3 years. So every 3 years I was bouncing around. I had the opportunity to live in Tokyo. I lived in Seoul, Korea. So those were opportunities that,
Did you connect with people even when you were still growing up?
Yeah. Okay. And I still stay in touch with a lot of people. There's still people in Korea that I know, and there's other people in Tokyo that they know of me because of that situation. I told them, I lived in Tokyo, and that built that relationship. Like, oh wow, you used to stay here, and blah blah blah, and so now I know record store owners in Tokyo. I know promoters in Tokyo. Yeah, and it's just really about building those relationships.
Right, and networking.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, how do you feel about seeing? Okay, how do you feel about seeing people, up and coming artists who are on the bad road, but they want to stay positive? Like, how can you tell them, like, okay, this is what I need to do to get out of their business, and get into art, like the music industry? Man,
that's really hard because
that's how they making their money. So you gotta.
I never knock another man's hustle. So to each his own. If you got to get out there and get it that way, that's on you. But just understand the repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So when you do, because eventually it will happen. It's either going to be one or the other, dead or in jail. And I know that sounds so cliche. It's like, it's like an old 90s movie or something. But it's like that. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So I would just say, just study the game and learn how to apply that same hustle to the music, and just take it. And if you want to really do it, then you got to get serious, man. Like, you have to be serious. Even if you don't have the budget, there's other ways to get out there and get heard, but you just got to stay consistent. You got to be everywhere,
So to me, it sounds like you're a very family-oriented person in a sense. So do you think your kids and your wife that definitely motivated you to be a better man, like a better business partner,
of course.
better you, period, in general?
Yeah. Well, I give all the credit to my wife, man. Like, when we met, I was I was a totally different person. I'll just put it that I was a totally different person, and a lot of people around me were telling me, like, man, you need to change and slow down and do this or do that, but it was those things that I never listened. But when you find a good woman that comes in your life and can show you, like, there's better stuff out here. It's not all about what you're chasing. So and then when I had my first seed, that's what really
got you right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, they get it all misconstrued because they think, okay, I see this life, I see, the fame, the cars, the women, and they get so sidetracked of what's really important. So it's just for you to keep continuing on that track and continue to push and continue to hustle in the right way, that's mad respect and mad love. So I respect you for that, because a lot of people, a lot of young artists or a lot of people that's coming up in the game, they just they still dibble and dabble, and they lose focus. They lose track.
And that's the thing, is all that stuff really never meant too much to me. I like the chains and all that stuff, and but eventually it became to where it was would I rather have a chains or some nice kicks, or would I rather have a house? You know what I'm saying? Or would I rather?
Picture.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
it's like, do I want to have all these nice clothes, or do I want to have my wife driving a nice whip? You know,
Hello.
so
You know what? That's good. That's
well,
good.
I mean,
You thinking like that.
it's. I mean, I would say it's just growing up. You know what I'm saying? So at a certain point in life, when you hit that point, you're like, okay, well, it's time to stop playing
Your
and get
priorities
serious.
change.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's really what happened was. It was just like I wanted more in life. I was like, all that stuff doesn't really mean anything because at the end of the day, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? It's all gone. So, you know, it's like I want to build something to leave something. You know.
Do you mentor? Like you just seem like the person that just mentor people. Like just by the way, you just got a lot of life lessons that you just picked up along the way.
I've learned a lot.
And I'm glad that you're doing this interview. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity.
You should.
I mean, I would love to. I would love to.
I know, that sounds really good. But all right, well, thank you for this lovely interview. It was really, really nice meeting you.
No doubt, same here.
And y'all, I just want to tell y'all, he just seems so genuine and so passionate about his work, his family. Like I like interviewing people like you because you know it's coming from nothing to something. Yeah. And you know, like I say this on Kaylani Radio as well. Like I like to see growth in an artist and somebody that's actually pushing for something. Like and with you, even the short amount of time that I've known you, you just seem like growth has definitely changed your whole life. You know,
it has definitely. Really.
So I just want to say thank you.
No, thank you. Real quick, can I plug the magazine real quick?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Tell them where they can find you on social media, Instagram, everything. Just tell them. Let the people know.
Everything, you know, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff is at Concrete615. You can go to our website, concrete615.com, where you can find all the locations, all of our drop spots, read all the past issues, check out some of the models, check out some of the exclusive music that we release. Everything that is concrete based is right there at concrete615.com. Thank you again for the interview.
No problem. No problem.